Praise the Lord, hallelujah, and thank you, Jesus. It's around that time right here on KAZ Radio, where today we have the spotlight, business spotlight slash ministry spotlight. He'll explain it. None other with my friend and yours, Yunus Badat. How you doing, my friend?
Upstanding. Thank you so much for having me here, Pastor.
Hey, we are happy to have you, especially someone like you. But before we get into your story and before we get into the great things that you and your organization are doing, I want to know, and our audience wants to know, how did Jesus Christ come into your life?
Wow, that's very easy because Jesus Christ touches people in a way that you wouldn't expect. You don't plan on that until you start looking and seeking for him, but he gets into you, and then you have this passion to look at life and say, look, why am I really here? I think maybe there's a reason for me to get here.
Yes.
Visited a few churches around Greater Cleveland, in non-denominational churches, a few Catholic churches. Actually, my kids went to a Catholic school.
Okay.
So he's touching us not one time, but he's touching us every day because we're trying to do what he has asked us to do and reach out to other people.
Now, you have what I would call an international calling, an international ministry, international business, school. Tell our audience about Nanzi Children's Services.
Lovely. Back in 2011, my son and I decided to visit a country called Malawi. Actually, I was born there in Malawi, and I came to the States 1988. So when the kids, both my daughter and my son, attended college here, and he went to Peace Corps out in Burkina Faso. Upon his return, he says, Daddy, I want to do something for people that don't have as much as other people have. So the best thing in my mind at the time was, well, let me take him to Malawi, because Malawi happens to be a country that not many people know, and it is one of the poorest on planet Earth.
Wow.
So we went in 2011. We got down there. We went into the village, several villages, but one village struck us out was this Chikwasa village in the central part of Malawi. There was no school and no clean water. Kids were walking 6 to 7 kilometers to go to school. So when we came back, while I was there with my son Yakub, he said, Dad, I want to build a school here. And I looked at him, I said, you are crazy. How are we going to do that? We live in Cleveland, you can't build a school here. It's going to take a lot. He says, no, trust me, we're going to do it. So that's how Nanzi became into being. So when we got back to Cleveland, he brainstormed with his friends online and people that he went to school with at John Carroll University, Cleveland State University, and Akron University, where he attended those institutions. And with his friends, he put together this 501c, a small charity organization that became Nanzi in 2013. And from then on, we said, how are we going to raise funds? Well, some clever kids, of course, youngsters are so smart on the internet, they put together a store. So they sell T-shirts and some African artifacts, funds from family and friends and some churches that we've been to. They saw the vision to say, yeah, you guys are doing good, and we started putting together this project. And in 2007, we opened our first block of 3 classrooms in that little village.
So you actually built this school, or did you take over an existing building to build the school?
No, we started it from scratch.
Wow.
If you look at our website, nanzi.org, that'll show you from beginning to end. So we're in the process. Phase 2 is coming, hopefully, God willing, very soon, depending on how we do with our fundraiser.
So we're looking at your website now, and your core programs: education, water, and livelihood.
Right.
Tell us about each of those.
The three initiatives to be able to assist people and not just to hand out. It's better to teach them first. Education is a number one call, because once you have an educated society, regardless of wherever you are in the world, then they become independent. Once they have the tools to learn and go further in life, then they can look after themselves, and we can move away from these handout things that people look at. So education first, we started with a nursery school for under fives, and that was back in 2010. But
Okay.
that's a small area. Now that we are planning to have a full primary school in the near future, together with a building that we put together, the community there, the children there, and the villages and surrounding villages also didn't have any clean water, so we put a borehole. A borehole, for those that don't understand what it means, is actually a big pump that sucks water from the ground,
Oh, wow.
almost 140 feet down of deeper, and then you have concrete slab at the top with a pump. So you pump this clean water. It doesn't dry out in summer, when these guys used to have a well which would dry out in summer. So providing clean water, obviously you're going to reduce diseases where normally if you don't drink clean water you get sick, obviously.
Right, right.
And then the third initiative, which is the livelihood initiative, we figured, well, the kids got to get at least something before they go to school. And how do we do that? Well, we empowered their mothers and parents in the village. We gave everybody in that village of Chikwasa, I think there was like 87 families, but also surrounding villages. We handed them chickens so they can, grow chickens and raise some eggs. Use that money to buy corn. Corn, actually grounded corn made into porridge, so they can give the kids to go to school. So it's a process. It's there's no magic formula. You just have to do what anybody would do to get from stage one to stage
So,
to final stage.
so from livestock, the livestock is the chickens.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then the crops is the grain or the
Yeah, the corn.
the
Well,
corn.
they call it maize in other
Maize,
parts of
right,
the country, which
right.
is a staple food. Here we call it corn.
Okay,
Yes.
and then it is taken, and do they only just provide for the children, or is it something that they can actually sell to other?
Primarily, it's for the children. I mean, they have their own way of life. We can't
Okay.
impose that. They have their own way of doing business. Others leave the village. They go to the city, and they work in the city, and come back over the weekends. Look at the families. It's actually basically as subsistence farming. That's how they support themselves.
Okay.
But by adding the chickens, we figured, well, this portion of funds that you can get from the chickens, we want you to feed the kids before they come to school.
Wow.
Yes. So that is working. Of course, there's glitches and there's growing pains, but the message is put through to them that
Well,
it's important.
Well, how can a viewer get involved in what you're doing?
In many ways, just if you consider another human being as another person that God has put in this world,
Yes.
then reach out to that poor soul. I mean, God does not make garbage in the world.
Yes.
The people, they found themselves in those situations because of circumstances. Yakub, who is my son, he is an assistant principal right here in Lakewood, Ohio. He has two kids. I want to come back to the Nanzi before
Okay,
I answer
sure.
your question. The two kids that he has, my grandkids,
Mhm.
have everything. They have a choice.
Right.
They can choose to want this and not want that. They can sleep on a bed. They can eat in a plate. All those choices. Those kids down there don't have that. So when he created this Nanzi, when he came up with the Nanzi, he named the one son. His name is Isaiah, and the daughter's name is Nandi. So these two kids' names were put together to come with Nanzi.
Okay.
How that has come up, it's because he cherishes the fact that God has given him enough or more than he can
Yes.
handle, so he wants to share out there. Now, for a viewer to help, just get involved, get onto our website, read our stories, donate the little you can or your time. or spread the word around to say, let's do something good here where somebody's life has been touched. The good thing about this is every penny that we've collected or we collect from around the world, 100% of it goes straight into the village, into the school.
Wow.
We do not keep anything out of it. We do not share with the government, and thank God, because the government did allow us to to do this, and they were not too happy in the first place.
Yeah,
But we
yeah,
said,
because you're actually using the funds outside of the country.
right.
Right,
Now I'm
right.
talking about not our government, but the government there, because
Oh,
they wanted
okay.
us to go through them to
Mm.
establish the link with the villages. We said no, we want people in America or in Sweden or wherever they were in the world. If they're going to help somebody, it has to go to the village. The recipients must get everything, not through through the government, where you're going to collect funds and fees for doing the best for our people.
So now tell us, if a person wants to donate or help, is that available on the website as well? And
Yes, it is
okay,
on that website, nanzi.org. There is a link there. You can go ahead and donate. We have an event coming in pretty soon on June the 2nd.
okay, tell us about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we talked about it. Yeah, we did.
No,
That,
no, no, no. Tell us about the event.
oh, okay, good, good. That's gonna be in Lakewood, Ohio. I'm not familiar with anybody that that know the place, but it's a very popular place. That's gonna be June the 2nd, between 7 and 9 p.m. We're gonna have lots of food, and we're gonna have an auction, silent auction, Chinese auction, and there'll be drinks. So please, we welcome everybody to come in, and the tickets are like $25. You can purchase those online through our website or through our Facebook at nanzi.com. We welcome you. We want to know to see you there, and we're looking forward to having as many people as we can.
Okay, and this is called the Spring Happy Hour.
The Spring Happy Hour,
Okay.
which this is our third happy hour since we started 3 years ago now.
Now, I also noticed on your website, and folks, you want to definitely log on the website. I placed it on the Facebook page, but it's www.nanze.org. We were talking off air, and the taste of Maui.
Malawi.
Malawi. Tell us about that, too.
Well, we do this. I've been blessed, been married for 40 years with my wife, and she is so willing to help the organization that she puts time together for this organization. And once in fall, we'll invite anywhere between 100 and 130 people to come to a taste of Malawi. So we select a venue like a venue that is a community center, say in Lakewood or North Homestead or Fairview. In the last two years, we've done it in Fairview. So we got this hall, and she cooks food for 100 people. We take down there, and then people come and taste, check out the food that's made in Malawi. People eat in Malawi.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell me one of the dishes that
It's a great. You're bound to find green beans.
Okay.
You're gonna find collard greens.
Mm.
You're gonna find chicken. You're gonna find goat meat. If depending on the season, you may get mushrooms.
Okay.
And of course rice and nsima. Nsima is that cornbread which I was talking about earlier. To say in Malawi the staple food is nsima.
Okay.
It's made from corn, like maize, like I said, and that will be on the menu too.
Now, if we wanted to maybe even go over to Malawi to help in teaching or digging wells or whatever, is there any time that you have trips that are sponsored that can go over to help with that?
Yes. Since we're in our early stages of helping the folks out there in Chikwasa village, the plans are to have several houses or accommodations on the school property, so that once a year, between July, August, and September, volunteers can come in there and help out and assist in the village, putting together the construction of the school or helping out uh, the villages, showing them what plants they could plant that can sustain, a drought, and also volunteers that would share information with mothers, pregnant mothers, and children. So those plans are in the way. However, I have been there literally every year in August. I have a trip going this year from August 19th. I'll be coming back in September 13th, somewhere about that. So
Wow.
it'll be fun to get as many people as possible to get down there to see what we're doing and at least experience another culture and appreciate what we have.
What
in
is
our
the
lives.
closest? What is the closest major city?
The city of Lilongwe is the capital of Malawi.
Okay.
And when you land in Lilongwe, if you're flying from the US, you'd probably fly through Johannesburg, South Africa, or maybe Ethiopia, from Ethiopia to Lilongwe. When you land in Lilongwe, it's actually about 40 miles to the village. So you'll drive me, say, about 26 miles of paved roads, and then you have to take the unpaved roads to the village for another 10 miles.
Wow.
It's reachable when it's dry, but when it rains, the roads are really, really tough to get by. You might get stuck a few times before you get to the village.
And again, tell our audience, how did you find this village?
Well, like I said, I am from Malawi,
Right.
and I came here when I was 30 years old. I'm almost 60 now.
Okay.
And I
So you-
knew the lifestyle people in the villages. I mean, I'm not trying to paint a picture of everybody being poor, but
Sure.
at least 80% of the country live on $1.25 a day. There are some elites that live in the city, and of course, they work in government entities, they work in NGOs. But the mass population are very disadvantaged. They have no infrastructure, very poor hospitals. Medication is a difficult issue that they don't have. And water is a big issue. Even though Malawi is a beautiful country, it's 1/3 of Malawi has a lake, third largest lake in Africa, called Lake Malawi, with fresh water, with as many species of fish. When we went down there, it's amazing to find that here's a country with so much water on the lake, but you have at least, say, maybe half the population don't have clean water because they're in the village. There's no infrastructure. So when we were looking around, this struck us so much because they didn't have a school. They didn't have clean water. Kids were walking from this village to the neighboring village 6 to 7 kilometers just to go to school. When it rains, with grass growing and farmers planting their crop, 5 to 6 year olds or 7-year-olds cannot walk in the dark. So sometimes the rains will wash away the roads. So we decided that was the right place to start, and we'll start like a little model and see how that works.
Okay.
So thank God. I mean,
Yes.
blessed to the good Lord, He is helping us achieve that little by little. It takes a while. It takes initiative, it takes drive, but thank you for our supporters.
Well, I am very, very happy that you came in today to share this awesome dream, and not dream, but it's manifesting what you're doing in Malawi, and with the Nazi
Nanzi.
program. Folks, here again, we are with Yunus Badat, who has a 501c3 NGO aimed at creating possibilities for children in Malawi through grassroots innovatives in education, water, and poverty reduction. And it sounds like he's doing an awesome job. You can get involved in this. They're having a happy hour 2018. Tell us again about that happy hour.
That's going to be at around the corner in Lakewood. It's at 18616 Detroit Avenue, Lakewood, Ohio. Time's going to be 7 to 9 p.m. You can purchase your tickets online. It's only $25, and drink all you want, eat as much as you can, and participate in the silent auction. And there'll be a 50-50 auction too. Raffle
Yes,
going
50
to. Yes.
raffle going on.
So we
Yes.
welcome everybody. Please join us.
So tickets are $25. You want to go to their website. That's www.nanze.org, and you'll click on the event, and it'll take you to the eventbrite.com where you can order your tickets. That's Saturday, June 2nd. That's a week away. It should be a lot of fun. It's from 7 to 9 p.m. And, of course, our friend Yunus will be there along with his son and family.
And volunteers.
And volunteers.
That you get to meet.
Yes, that you get to meet. So come on out, and I'm sure Lady D will be there, possibly, if she's in town. So we thank you again for just sharing your vision, sharing what you're doing. Hats off to you and your family for such an awesome, awesome work. We really appreciate all that you're doing to help somebody. Every like you said, if everyone just help somebody, the world would be a better place.
Absolutely.
So, as we get ready to close, any last words or comments that you like to make to the audience?
Well, I just want to say thank you for having me here this afternoon, and I encourage the audience that are listening now, or maybe may listen later, visit our website and see how you can contribute. You don't have to be Oprah Winfrey or Bill Gates to change the world. You just have to be yourself and your God-given powers to support another human being. And this is a one world, so please consider helping somebody else. It may not be Nanzi, but somebody in your life that you can, one day they can look up to say, I was assisted by this human being.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, thanks again, Yunus, for sharing with us. And folks, please log on to www.nanze.org. The information is right there on your screen. God bless and thank you.
Thank you.